Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Omega TV. My name is Father J. Tonight, we're going to be playing Free League's Coriolis. The truth about Station 18. I'm pretty experienced with Year Zero engine games, Twilight 2000, run a few others, but this is going to be my first time playing and running specifically Coriolis tonight. I'd like to welcome our players. We have Pontius, Viking, Steve T, and Omega, of course. What I'd like to do is set the setting a little bit, if you'll bear with me, to give some background and some information that some people are not necessarily familiar with. Some of our players this evening are first-timers, so I think this will help set the tone and setting. So we start with Eldura, Earth, hundreds of years ago, when we reached out to the stars, building colossal colonization vessels. Two, named Zenith and Nadir, had left for the star Aldebaran. The crew lived their lives on these generational ships through centuries of deep space. One of the ships, Nadir, was lost somewhere in the darkness during the voyage. The Zenith continued alone and finally reached its destination. But the people on board had discovered that they weren't the first ones there. They weren't the first ones to arrive. They had arrived in a system of stars that had already been colonized, linked by some ancient portals that Earth had discovered while they were away. Mankind had discovered a remnant of a highly advanced culture, which they named the Portal Build. The portal opened a way for humanity to travel to the stars, and the Golden Age began. Colonization vessels sought out the stars, establishing the first, second, and finally, third horizon was reached. And it became a haven for radicals and freethinkers from the first two horizons. Earth-like worlds were discovered, colonized, massive palaces and temples erected, civilization slowly spread across the third horizon. The third horizon comprises, show here. Third horizon comprises 36 star systems that are joined through space through these mystic ancient portals. And the horizon today is a melting pot of different cultures, peoples, and factions. However, the peace wasn't meant to last. The first horizon wanted to reclaim the star systems that had freed themselves. Newborn separatist powers, headed by the Order of Pariah, resisted and war broke out, and the slaughter lasted several years. Star fleets of the Third Horizon finally wiped out the First Horizon's lackeys, a faction called the Sacrifice of Nazim, and in that battle they had wound up closing the portals to the other horizons. The terrible war left in its wake remnants of once great armadas, rifts in space of time, and cities and whole planets were scorched and destroyed. And when the silence was at its deepest, the Zenith, the colony ship, the generational ship, had finally arrived in the Third Horizon. The massive Ark ship had found that its original destination was already colonized by lords and emirs of Dabaran. And after traveling a war-torn horizon, the Zenith decided to settle in the system's central area, Kua, as its new home. Soon after arrival, a mutiny soon divided the crew what to do. And the captain's family had fled the ship and settled on the planet's surface below, on the planet Kua, where a massive ancient monolith existed. The remnants of the colonists had cannibalized the ship, the Zenith, rebuilding it into a great space station, Coriolis, and declared a new era in the Third Horizon, a time of trade and reawakening peace. And this is where most of this separation comes. The descendants of the crew of the Zenith call them Zenathians, while the peoples of the first colonies, the wave of people that had first come, call themselves the First Comes. And they see themselves as the Horizon's original settlers. Among the latter, however, many have begun identifying as Zenathians, despite not being blood related to the crew of the Zenith. This is most common among those who regard themselves as progressive, those who share the Xanathians' practical take on the icons, the gods, and life in general. And the camera slowly fades to black, and as it fades back in, we see a gigantic structure. Bear with me here a moment. Share out this image. Hopefully you're seeing it, Omega.
Yes.
A massive ring suddenly flashes an intense bright white, with swirling blue darkens. Swiftly the tendrils of blue turn black and into a half a dozen blobs. Flash. The space scene returns. A half a dozen spaceships of various sizes are now lumbering at what seems a glacial pace away from the now dormant ring. The camera zooms in, focusing on one ship in particular. And that ship, you can see a large hand, stylized 5-finger with a prominent eye in the center, like a in the palm an eye, and this Hamza, this hand of Atita, is starting to fade. And just above that, we see the bold, proud letters also fading. Narzalis. And the scene cuts, and we're inside the ship. Cramped rooms of equipment and beds, individual rooms with what looks like a bunk bed and some cryopod that are now starting to clamp open. Trade and constant jockeying for position between the factions of these Third Horizons is where this ship, this crew, comes in. Jobs are plenty, and you desperately need of money to pay off debts, greasing palms and keeping jobs coming and flowing. You've been running the Debaran circuit for the past year. Few carry jobs here and there, a few unsavory clients and situations, but mostly I've been holding to the ship owner, Zamil Mahfouz, in his business dealings. Mahfouz's family is one of the privileged on Coriolis station, and he always seems to have a relative in some port of the Kua system. One of the many factors that keeps you working for him on his good side, amongst some maybe other reasons. The ship has just exited the Kua portal, having come from the Harama system. Back over to showing. If you'll just do the Kua system map, or you don't have to show the portal image anymore. Slowly, all your minds are starting to awaken from the frozen sleep of stasis. Blackness starts to lighten, swirling lights, concepts starting to form. Eyelids start to open, senses start to come back fully, feeling the slurry of hydrostatic stasis gel being pumped out of your cryobed. You hear the too familiar triple sing-song beeps of all status monitors that are green. When the clamshell door rises, opens, and allows you to lazily sit up, taking off the breathing tube that you've done so many times before. You practiced a few minutes of mind sync, of who you are, where you are, what's going on. And after a few moments, you hear the ship's AI beam greet you. Greetings and salutations. You will all be pleased to know that you have successfully completed the jump. Ship is tracking towards Coriolis with scheduled arrival at 17:51 Coriolis time. Clocks adjusted. You have 10 minutes before full burn. Bulletin net is updating and should be completed in 2 minutes 5 seconds. Refreshments will be available in the galley. Do you have any other requests or need of me? At this point, I'd like to take a moment and have our players. And we'll start with you, a Pontius.
Father, your mic's crackling, just so you know.
Pontius, if you want to say who you are and just a brief.
Well, I'm playing. Get it back up again. Mara Absuik.
Mm-hmm.
She's a data spider, and
for those that don't know, a data spider is like a hacker. It's a computer type of expert.
Yeah. And she is. It's a little hard for me to be completely sure. I think she's not exactly on the run, but she's sort of trying to avoid some people. So, trying to avoid some of her background getting out.
Thank you. Viking.
I will be playing Rashid Tahan for this evening. He is a ship worker, so he's, part of what keeps the ship going and not drifting off somewhere where it doesn't need to be. He just wears most of the time just a plain white tank top. He has like an iconic symbol that he hangs around his neck. And he's been working on this ship for a good bit of time now.
Thank you. And Steve?
I am Zahir. I have more style than common sense. I am a pilot. I'm used to heavy freighters. My last run went south. My heavy freighter wound up bisected by some sort of a stray asteroid. Unfortunately, and rather without reason, I think, I was blamed for the mishap. It had nothing to do with me or my mental state or my state of intoxication. Those were nasty rumors. But the criminal syndicate for which I was flying had me grounded and then arrested. So I immediately had to flee to the Baron system and found myself in league with a fellow fugitive named Zephyr, and in a stolen ship that was eventually, I'm going to say, gifted to us by our benevolent benefactor.
Gifted.
In my mind.
And Omega.
I am Zephyr Caden. And I have a long story. When I was a kid, I was playing at a playground and I found this stick balanced on this swing. And I was looking at the stick, and with my mind I somehow moved it. I moved it in the air and it came back to me and I caught it with my hands. Well, this grabbed the attention of some, what you call, zealots from this group, the Dahag Makah. Horrible people. They kidnapped me from my parents, and they were doing experiments on me, trying to figure out how I had these powers. Rather than just accept it as a gift from God, they want to control it like they are their own gods. But years of experiments and tortures did a toll on me. And they were hooking these machines up to me. Every day they weren't even, but then one day I think they found the secrets to my power. And I couldn't let them have that. So I stole their data on a disk and left. I escaped on a shuttle. And then I found this ship, and there I met Zaire. Now we're here.
And you're slowly waking up, as I said, shaking off the cobwebs, as it were, of that deep cryostasis sleep. Even though the portal jumps are instant, you're in the bed, put down, and when you come out, it's a somewhat jarring experience to reorient yourself. So Jazim's, the ship's AI, comes back and says, as a reminder, refreshments are in the galley. ETA to Coriolis station, 10 hours, 25 minutes.
Oh, there better be coffee.
Bulletin net update has been completed. There are 1 new messages for each of you. And what I'd like to say is this is going to give you guys an opportunity, like, what kind of personal comm or message might have showed up. And we'll start off in reverse order. Omega, what do you think showed up for you as a personal message?
Just so, Father, you're getting a buzz on your mic, okay? It keeps coming and
yeah.
going. I get a personal message from the Dark Makach. Jenin. He's saying he found me. He knows where I am, and he will get me.
And how does that make you feel?
Makes me a little scared, but I'm free, and I feel a little bit of power from that. And I believe with these people I may escape once and for all. I got this leverage of this data disk that can protect me.
And Viking, what do you think Rashid's personal comm was?
Knowing that he's kind of been raised, privileged, kind of in those like elite circles a little bit. Being a ship worker is kind of seen a little beneath that kind of, group right there. He's probably gotten some personal message from family saying, you've had your fun, quit this nonsense, come back home so you can actually take your rightful place where you should be. He probably just kind of rolls his eyes a little bit and just ignores the message after that.
Eve.
My message is from Sana Nazri, and it reads, "If you show your face on Debaran again, I will find you, and I will remove your 2 best friends. By the way, my father knows."
Quite ominous. What do you think he knows?
I
Perhaps
don't really
he
know.
knows
I thought
of
I
the
was a
deal that
perfect
it was
gentleman.
made with that gifting of the ship. And then Apontius, what do you think your personal message was?
I think, well, it's a personal message, but it's a bill, right? It's, I don't know enough about Coriolis to know what a high value.
It's like
of money would be,
well, it
but,
depends on what it is, but let's say it's several thousand burr, which is the money.
and then there's the account number, but there's no description, there's no name, there's no anything. And Mara is not surprised at this. She is it's like any kind of bill, right? It's just like she's unhappy to see it, but she knows that she still has to pay it. And she just files it away. Oh, well, actually, she'll go ahead and check her own balance, her own personal balance, and it is nowhere near that large. She might, if she does have some money, I'm not quite sure exactly what financial state our ship is in. She might send some money to it, but
Best not to ask.
it won't. It's not that much. It's not going to pay it down all that much, but it is something.
Yeah, so after a few moments, the captain, Zahir, who's the pilot captain, doesn't really have like captain staff for you guys because you have the same crew, but it's more of the point person of, who's responsible to be the point person. And Zahir, you have a personal message comes in live, came into the ship, bips your tabula. and it's a message from the ship owner, the deal that you made, Zamil Mahfouz, and it reads, "Good tidings, Captain. I just received confirmation of your ship's portal exit registration. It is most urgent that you dine with me at Wahid's Cantina, at 18:30. I expect you to be able to celebrate another safe voyage through the passage of the dark, and what news you bring from your Debaran circle." And then the message ends. So you have a few hours on the ship. If there's anything pressing you want to check or look at or kind of ask in a way of the current situation. Otherwise, we'll just do the time slip and fade to the Coriolis docking.
I will try to find a way to clear the cobwebs of the cryo bed out of my head, whether that's a dry shower or a coffee. And I will approach the pilot console barely on time for the docking procedures.
We'll go ahead and activate the Coriolis station. The ship we see gliding in amongst other ships, flittering back and forth, both in and out of landing and leaving Coriolis station, as well as numerous small ships going back and forth up and down between the planet itself and Coriolis station. Coriolis station is basically the central hub of the Kua system, obviously, and then the Third Horizon itself, and generates lots of traffic. You've been here a number of times before in the past year, doing runs for Zamil, mostly doing legitimate cargo business and occasionally some favors. You get the command of what docking port to land at. The ship lands. The kind of steam overwash to make sure that anything foreign substances are hopefully cleared of the ship. Pressurizes over the ship. Jazim comes over the intercom and says, "Docking procedures completed. Welcome to Coriolis." And your tabula blips as and as the captain. There's a team of scanners and dock worker waiting for you guys to come out and let them. You guys are unloading cargo from the Hamuru system that you come from, some ores and minerals for the general use of industry at Coriolis and beyond. And so the dock were most interested to get busy in unloading.
Our presence has been requested at a cantina. The name escapes me.
Wahid, cantina.
Yeah, the name escapes me. I can't recall what it was. Wahid? Anyone else familiar with the cantinas on Coriolis?
Sounds familiar.
You are connected to the Coriolis Infonet, so if you want to just look up where it's at on the map, you can certainly do that.
Once my feet hit plascrete or concrete or stone or whatever this station is made out of, my responsibilities end, gentlemen. I'm along for the ride. And lady, sorry.
Zephyr's, he's looking at the station in awe. He's never been free in so long. He's always been a prisoner. And he's just looking at everything, every store, every little talking to people as he walks through the station in bewilderment.
Yeah, as soon as you guys are, exiting out of the ship, one, there's like the, formality of like the handoff of, here's the ship's manifest, yes, you have permission to come in for the scanner team that does their scanning procedure before the dock workers can start unloading. And you have to like, sign off, yes, captain, pilot of the Nazaris. And waiting for you just on, behind this group of dock workers and scanner team is a grav car, smaller one, and there's like a little digital sign on the side, basically like taxi, and there's a gentleman standing in front and asking, "Are you here? Rashid, Mara, Zephyr?" As he's looking at the 4 individuals.
I look around as if I don't know who he's talking about.
Zamil has requested your presence, and in the interest of expediting through the massive traffic in the plazas of Coriolis, he has hired a grav car for you to get there more conveniently. And he smiles a little bit too-eyed.
Don't I just feel special?
Are we about to be kidnapped? I think we're about to be kidnapped.
Yeah, I'm a little worried too. You think we should go with them?
Sure, let's.
Yeah.
This is the first interesting thing that's happened all day. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys get into the grav car. There's, like enough for 5 or 6 people. 6 would be crammed, but you 4 can fit in there easily. And the grav car slowly takes off away from the dock, heading into one of the rings pipes, basically, and then takes a different circuit, goes up an elevator shaft because it's a grav car, and comes out on the promenade and starts going through the various different sectors. There's peoples and the rickshaws and the very expanses of the station shops and all that you're seeing there. And you wind up coming to, let me pull it up here. This window out of the way. And drops you off just outside the promenade alley. You can see this Rashid's Pets, Beer's Pawn Shop, and right in between is an entryway, Wahib's Cantina.
Cantina. Wow, this sounds like fun.
Keep your wits about you. If anyone offers you anything, say no.
Okay. If you go to the entryway, there's like a maitre d' standing there. How may I assist you? Are you here to have dinner?
Sure. I'll have dinner. I'll have anything you have, as long as it's fresh and it's not synthetic.
We have plenty of that, sir, I assure you. It's one of the finest establishments in Coriolis.
I do believe we are expected.
Oh, yes, the name.
The name... Oh, where is it?
Zamil.
Zamil. Yeah. Zamil.
Ah, yes, he has a private room. Come this way. And he starts leading your character.
Just so you know,
through
Father.
the room. Yeah. You can't see it?
No, your buzz.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Hang on. All right, let me disconnect and come back in. Okay, hopefully that'll be better.
Okay. And the game's paused too.
Oh, yep. There we go. So he's leading you through the cantina into this room to the left, and sitting at the end table, you can see the familiar face of Zamil. Ah, yes. My good friends from the Narzalis. Come. Have some drinks and wine.
As we're sitting down, I actually hold a hand out to Zephyr. Not too much. The last time I drank here, I woke up in an alleyway, disrobed, with a cat. Don't ask, I don't know.
Not too much. I never had a drink in my life.
Very little. Drink very little. Small glass.
Okay.
Yeah, and when we're saying wine, it's like a sweet apple drink that they're calling a wine.
Oh,
It's not alcoholic.
it's kind of bitter, but it's good.
I'm glad that you find it to your approval. I know that you gentlemen have just docked, and I appreciate you coming to see me. As you know, Narzalis is the fastest ship with the best crew that
No, stop.
I have dealings with. And of course, your arrival in system is most fortuitous. I have a job of much urgency. I don't know if you've had time to go over recent events on the bulletin net, which doesn't sound like any of you had bothered asking or checking, so you don't know what's going on. You're like, no.
The current events depress me.
Yes,
They
there are
sour
many
my-
news. There are many
Oh, yeah.
news that is not so good these days. That is true. I think I can sweeten the deal by interesting you that this job is 10,000 birr for valuable information on what has happened to a ship, the Zamas. The Zamas disappeared 2 days ago, breaking quarantine for Station 18 out in the Rimward Reach. Now, I don't know how much you know about Station 18, but the Legion has been having that under quarantine for quite some time. So we wish to avoid any confrontation with the Legion, of course. And it would be very bad for my association with trying to do dealings with the Foundation, who the Legion are their lapdogs. You know, I don't have to tell you that, but... speaking of the Foundations, specifically, they are most interested in that someone has made it through the gravity anomalies called the Tarns that are out there. And it used to be that the whole quarantine process was because of the Tarns, as I understand, plus something that has always been a bit of a mystery has happened there. But the Foundation has asked me specifically that if you are able to get there and get this information of the ship is fine. That's their, only marginally concerned with that. But if they have the ability to get onto the station, they are most interested in the recovery of some valuable research data that should be there on an emerald disk in the command center. This is worth 50,000 birr to them. And they think it may be more hazardous. And of course I know that you still owe some on your debt to me. You being the fastest ship, most fortuitously coming into system, most fantastic. Of course, there's the usual payments of possible salvage and recovery. Maybe the Salmas could be salvaged. Maybe it's still there. And possibly over 2 million birr worth of a ship there. Quite lucrative if you could recover that.
I mean,
Well, as you know, the Rimward Reach is quite a ways out there. And that's why I wanted to talk with you right away. We must leave, of course, quickly before others potentially get wind of this and get out there. I believe your ship should be able to do the run in 8-10 days, somewhere in there, depending on how much you push the engines.
Rashid, what do you think?
He's pretty much spot on. I'll have to keep a sharp eye on those engines and make sure they don't blow mid-warp or anything, but it could be done.
If one of the engines did blow, that might knock the ship's value down a little and it might shrink our tab.
I really hope you're not suggesting we let an engine blow. Not to me.
No, I'm sorry. I should have known better. Your work ethic is impeccable. Not great for profit, but impeccable.
Thanks, that's how I like to keep it.
And of course, I will arrange, if it is all right, to upload some larger update from the bulletin net from the time that you've been away, so that you may research in your 10 days travel and get all the information that you need. Speaking of which, I think you would most be interested in being able to meet with my cousin out in the Jacorum station. Once you get to the Rimroad Reach, of course, that's the main spaceport out there. The cousin of mine, Salim Parsa, he has a gunship. A gunship would be useful in case of any potential tie-ins with the Legion. It would be my suggestion, though, that maybe it would be better if my cousin, and I've already messaged him this, although I have not received a response yet because of timings, to have his ship run a 4 before your ship to divert any potential Legion ship away. And we do not want the fight, of course, but if we can lure them away and not pay attention to your approach to the station, that would be excellent. Of course, if they're not there, then we have no need to fear. And Salim can act as a backup while you approach the ship or board the station, if that is possible. And see, I have thought of some things for you, and to sweeten the deal to make sure that you help me help you.
How much does your cousin owe you, and how much of our share is going to him?
You know, family is very important. He's very loyal to me, that boy. It's a bit of a... He's a bit of a strutter, you know, trying to make his name out there in the savages of the Rimworld. Not as, looking around, classy as this place. Well, of course, we will enjoy our meal. But anything that you need for your journey, or that you think you may need, let me know. But if we can route you around and get you out there as quickly as possible. As I understand, the workers are finishing up the unloading of your ship as we speak.
We will need some more of this wine. It's very good. I really like it.
Sheik! And there's a gentleman that comes in, and that's when you notice that, like, around the corner, you know, staying, like, out of view, out of paying attention, doing a really good job of, like, kind of blending into the other patrons and stuff. There's the, oh, yeah, there they are. The 2 heavy hitter bodyguards are standing over there, and this waiter Ajik comes around the corner with the pitcher. Yes, please, have some more. Enjoy.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe one request.
And Zamil, yes?
A ranged weapon of some kind. Might you have like a tidy little holdout pistol or something that I could borrow? If we're tangling with the Legion, I don't think my little stun stick is going to cut it.
What I could do is quietly arrange to have a crate loaded onto your ship. I do not have any weapons here, of course. That is against Coriolis policies. And kind of side glances at the bodyguards.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Any other concerns that I can put to rest?
I have none thus far.
What do you think our chances are of succeeding in this mission?
Well, it seems a pretty straightforward, hopefully, mission. It's an abandoned research station that's been out there being quarantined for 10 years. But it was not able to be get to from the Tarns. The gravity anomalies would not allow ships in. Matter of fact, the way back, as I understand, with the Legion, when it first set up the quarantine, I hear tales that they had lost a couple of exoshells trying to get through the Tarns to get to the ship. Even tried to nuke it. Lost a few missiles.
Well, I think I am in. I think that's the last place the Damachakak would look for me.
Oh, that would be very far away for them, yes. And he's like, takes a tabula out for a second and forgive me for a moment. Yeah, I think you're safe for now. I don't see any new registries of entries of agents of theirs, as far as I know. But please, finish your meals, enjoy, and that crate. Do you have a specific request? Like a Vulcan, Scorpion, I assume?
That'd be fine. I don't need anything fancy. Honestly, I know very little of weapons, but I know the Legion likes to act from a distance. As long
Easily
as I
done.
can point it at them, I'm okay.
And he taps on his tabula a few tippity taps. It will be done. It should be waiting for you when you get back to your ship.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I need this done. Always with the wheelings and dealings, favors and trades, the comings and goings, as you know. But I promised you a long time ago when we legitimized your ship that we would get you out of debt in payment for me as long as you stay loyal, of course. And we are heading in that direction.
That's good to hear.
If you were able to salvage that ship, my friend, that might actually pull you ahead and get you out of the debt that you owe. Well, may the traveler always show you the way home. I must, unfortunately, go, but feel free to finish. I insist. Enjoy. And he gets up, pardon me. And the
think we
two
should go to
bodyguards
container and
follow.
Take this to go.
So here in the spaceport, you guys have access to all sorts of info database, network stuff. If you want to do any sort of research prior to getting on the ship, but Zamil had said that he was going to try and update load into your ship all the data that's happened since you had last been here. So hacking into government systems, you wouldn't be able to do that from your ship once you leave. But if it's just, general database queries of like information that you can pull up normally, Zamil's database would have that in there.
Would
Sounds like
it?
Mara's turn.
Possibly. Pontius, do you think Mara wants to do any deep diving on the net?
I mean, yes, but I don't really know what she would. So, what I, as a player, am thinking is, our owner, who, if you could you type the owner name somewhere?
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
haven't been able to get it.
Yep.
From what we've been
Bear with me a
saying.
moment.
Like, he's kind of trying to make it sound like this is just going to be a piece of cake, when the thing's been out there for 10 years and no one appears to be able to get to it, which makes me think that it's not actually going to be a piece of cake. So, I mean, I think she'd want to know sort of the failures, right? What we know of the people who've tried to get there and why they've failed, been killed, been destroyed, all the horrible things that happen to you when you try to get to a haunted house in space.
Yep. So
I was thinking about actually asking him, but Mara has no ranks in manipulation, so I think she's probably tried to confront him about things before and just gotten shut down. So she's like, no, I'll go back to computers. I'm better at computers.
Fair enough. So there's the different factions of Coriolis, the Xanathians that kind of, are the, ruling factions, more so than the first comes, but then it depends on what system and area you're in. And they're all represented here on the station. So, like, for instance, the Free League is, a lot of traders. The Consortium is a lot of like your industry stuff. The Legion is kind of the military arm of the Foundation folks. And then you have like the Church of the Icons, Order of Pariah, Nomad Federation. Those are like a little bit more religious focused, etc. So I would assume, I'll say that what it would occur to Mara is that if you wanted to, getting the history stuff should be fine. And you could do that like on your 10-day trip. But trying to like dig up any secrets, you'd want to try and like deep dive into like one of the syndicates or the Free League or Foundation folks, to see what you can get from them before you leave.
That's good.
Okay. Well, did you want to connect in once you're back at the ship, and then so that you're located on your ship, or do you want to like have like a go find a quiet anonymous spot here on the station in the promenade, like some little back alley, kind of like, oh, here, I'll hook up.
Yeah, I'd like to, if possible, again, I don't know exactly what the technologies are like here in Coriolis, but she wouldn't want it to get traced back to the ship if she can avoid it. That's the first layer of it. I think the second layer would be, if she's going to hack around in these technology, in these other systems. Like, I don't know how popular is the wrong word, but like well known she is as a hacker. Like, would people be able to figure out her signature if she
right? Well, that would be like the back tracing to find out.
Yeah.
You do have on your character sheet what's called reputation on the left hand side. You have like your hit points, mind points, and then further down is reputation. So 6 means that she's fairly well known. A lot of that has to do with your high society origin, and then couple that with being a data spider. That's like kind of like your people respect and have better reputation the like more well-paying jobs or positions that people have. So like a dock worker isn't looked as good upon as like a doctor or lawyer, or like in your case a data spider or data gen. So 6 is
Right.
you have a pretty good reputation. Not necessarily that directly means that you're 60% famous. It just means that people look at you very highly, or at least fairly significantly highly. So back tracing
Okay.
would depend on how well
Yeah,
you
so
get in
I'm
and
gonna.
get out.
Yeah.
So
Love
functionally,
to see
what
how
we'll
that goes.
we'll take if you want to do the back alley spot. I don't know if you want to take
Yeah.
anybody with you
Um,
when you do this, or
Is there like a what did they used to call them? A internet cafe?
yeah. Well,
Right.
let's have you roll your wits. First roll, yay. Let's have you
Wits
roll
first.
your
Okay.
wits, and
Just a straight up
that'll
wits
kind of
roll.
represent, yeah, just a straight wits roll. And this will kind of represent the trying to find a place. Do you know of a place?
All right. And here's where we get to my figuring out how this UI works.
Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
the button at the bottom looks like, okay, it's just a straight roll.
Yes, correct. Which is the like 0 that's in the middle there. Okay. So
That is, looks
no
like that's 0
successes.
successes.
Right. So in this case, you could, with the year 0 engine and Coriolis, you can push your roll. That would give me a darkness point to use later for potential bad things. I'm going to just say you don't necessarily have to do the push, because this is going to be a fail forward, in the sense that it's going to take you longer unless you get a success to find a place. So instead of like, oh, I know a place and it's only going to take 15 minutes to get there, the failure would represent it's more taking you an hour, so it's delaying you quite a bit. So it's up to you on whether or not you want
How long
to
do we
push
have?
that. Well, Zamil had said he wanted you guys out there as quickly as possible. I mean, that's going to take 8 to 10 days
Yeah,
to travel out
Jamil.
there. So it's like,
He's always
really,
like
is it
that.
that crucial?
When Jamil says 1 hour, you've probably got like 3. We've worked with him before. Everything's a rush. Everything's a rush with him. So no, I'm gonna
Okay.
almost deliberately be like, you know what, this can take a
I,
little longer.
I just need to find a place. So yeah, so it just takes longer to organize through. You're going through the net and looking at different places and like what kind of security measures they have, or like also comparing the where it is physically on the promenade. So you're like, if I get caught or somebody, and if the Coriolis guards come in, the Legion, ex-Legion guards wind up, and would there be good exit points, and like all that's taking a while to do, and you finally find a place that you think is good. It's like it's got good exits and all that, and it's got a pretty good connection to get in, hopefully as anonymously as possible. And then now it's just a matter of do you want to have anybody else with you when you go to this internet cafe?
I mean, my initial thought is that this is something Mara does alone.
Mm.
Right? Like she goes off and she's not going to want to talk with any people anymore and just deal with this. Also knowing that if somebody does trace her back, it's easier for one person to escape than multiple people. So she'll tell everybody, okay, I'm going to be back in a bit. Don't leave without me. And
Yep.
she'll go do it by herself.
All right. So just for kind of pointing out a spot, I'm going to say that the spot that you wind up finding is like in this core plaza, which is on the bottom right. There's a Garden of Seekers, which is the 13, just to the upper northwest of the center, and where I'm pinging, which is my ping's small because of the map being big, but Just off that Garden Seekers area, there is a, computer house internet cafe, the latest VR, all that sensory type of data. And so they have a decent connection into the infonet. And that's where you wind up deciding to, slide in, have a drink, and just, use your, tablet to try and get a connection in. So now what we'll have you do is go ahead and do a data gen roll.
Yeah. This one I'm going to push if I don't succeed at. Although, do they call it pushing? I mean, it's like praying.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
icon?
it's specifically called praying to the icons, but it's pushing the roll. And what that push does is it gives me a darkness point to use.
Let's see how this wants to go. And again, is there anything that I can do in prep to give myself any pluses on this?
I would say that you could directly connect into one of the computers at the cafe to boost your computing ability. However, that that if you fail, there's just like it giving you an increase of pushing in. If you fail, it means the backtrack is more quickly going to go, it was right at that cafe. So it's going to be less time for them to get to you, as it were, if there was going to be somebody coming after you.
No, I'm gonna.
Functionally, that'll mean a +1 for the roll if you do it that way, but then it's going to be a +1 for them to find you if you fail.
I'm not gonna do that. And if I don't get any successes, I'm gonna pray. And this is. Let me look at this. This is data gen, which is. I can't see it on this sheet. What is it based on? What is it wits?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
It's wits, okay. And then if I'm praying to just to get this ready, because I will probably fail. If I pray to an icon for wits, which icon is that?
Oh, that is a good question for me, who is not super experienced in the icons. Steve, you want to look that up? Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. All right. Well, let's take care of your roll, and we'll worry about the push if we need to go there.
Okay. Well, I'll roll. I'll roll first, and somebody will look it up while I roll.
Yep. All right. So there was that initial failure.
I have my own mystical future predicting powers.
All right. So specifically the
just roll again.
Yeah, you can just functionally hit the prayers. I would assume that it's the messenger icon that probably is the data gen one. And so, but functionally, you just hit the pray to icons. You're like, oh, messenger, please see my message through.
Okay, so
the messenger it is, yeah.
Yep, thanks.
The messenger. Okay, I did not. I think if I had thought this through, because I did read this in the book, that there's a way to sort of weave an offering for one of the icons.
Yeah, that's a more complicated. Okay, so right now in the action, it's just you're making a prayer.
Yeah, I can't.
If you were to prepare, it would be going to a temple, praying, doing the offering, and then yes, that would functionally get you more, especially if you had a priest overwatching you. But in the moment, it's
not doing anything. Is there something? Is there something else I need to do?
Maybe I'm the one that has to do it for you. If you hit the pray to the icons, are you getting a pop-up with a modifier?
I don't. Maybe. Is that? Could I click roll on that? I thought that might be a general purpose.
You would. Yeah. No, you hit 0 because you don't have any modifiers.
And then 0.
Yep. There you go.
Okay. That's two successes. And you
right.
get a
So
dark side point. That's what they're called.
Yeah, that's like. You can ignore the if it shows up in chat. You can ignore the 3 because I was testing the system out before. So I'm just going to manually track it here that I have a point because this scenario isn't going to start me off with any dark points. All right, so we have 1. All right. So functionally, you have 2 successes. So you deep dive into the infotech and get some pieces of information and start organizing it up. And let me figure this out to you. So immediately, the first thing that comes to your mind and what you dig up is a manufacturer's map of the station itself, the Station 18. And where's the manufacturer? So there's I'll activate it. The manufacturer's advertisement for the Station 18 that gives you data that says that the station was originally built by the Foundation, and it's a Station AIRS SS18, and gives some data there about its, hull type. It's got 22 sections, the dimensions. It's a fairly large station. It's got an external macro sensor array for gravitational spectral metric measurements. It's got a couple of defensive systems that it had on it, a linked accelerator cannon, storage capacity of like 6 months worth of food. Production cost for that station was 390 million burr when it was first built. Carried 3 shuttles and could have up to like 500 people on it. Another variation of that information for the station also came up from the Foundation Infotech database itself, which points out a little bit more of like the specific areas on the station. Where the external docking station was, the fact that it had a biodome, where the reactor was, crew quarters, recreation, laboratories, kind of pointing out those locations.
You got these in the handout for us at all? Or...
I have them as just maps. We can return to them at any time. Here, let me, matter of fact, let me do them where it's all players have access, and then that way it'll stay up on your navigation. All players, save changes. And let's see, that's the infotech, and this is the manufacturing advert. So it should show up on your navigation.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep, that way you can bit-bop between them. Another piece of information that you got in your database dive was that Zamil had mentioned that there was a missing ship, the Zamas. You dug up the bulletin net info on that, and there was a didn't update the name here. Hang on a second. Chasma ship I will post in the chat so you have the name of that. And then the expedition that had went out to that Station 18 and broke quarantine was a Jahan, and then the last name I'm probably going to wind up ruining but is Del Hiljabad, which I'm typing out now. So Hiljaba. Now Jahan had been reported as breaking quarantine. The news was talking about the Legion ship trying to track down this Phasma ship, that it was breaking quarantine through the Tarns, and then it was reported lost. And the Legion has gone back to doing their quarantine warning ships. Hey, we were serious. Stay out of here. Don't be a Jahan. And the other thing that you get is a record, a entry from 100 years ago mentioning a Station 18, but it was in the Debaran system and over 100 years ago. Now, granted, there's thousands of different space stations and research stations out there, but the entry, even though it was deleted, I'll say with your 2 successes, you were able to dig up that from the backing up from being deleted, the restoring that corrupted piece of information of somebody having erased that entry. You were able to do a quick, recovery of that file entry, but it was still garbled. But the pieces that you got out of the reconstruction is that station sounded like the same layout as the one that is currently out in the Rimworld Reach, and they've built a number of similar stations, but out of the records that you show of, let's say, the 20 different Foundation stations that were built under the same kind of blueprint, these are the only 2 that had biodomes. Was the one out in the Rimworld Reach, and then this reconstructed entry from 100 years ago. So that makes you kind of go, what? That's kind of weird. Would they do tow it out there, or bring it through the portals? It's kind of odd to move a station. Or is it just a coincidence and it was one of the first ones they built, and then they didn't like it, or didn't get used, or didn't get requested, and then they all of a sudden did 100 years ago and built another one, just 30, 40 years ago? I don't know. That doesn't make sense. The other piece of information that you get, the last one, is a rough coordinates of the Station 18 out in the Rimworld Reach. So the rough area of where it was, within 100 kilometers or 1,000 kilometers. 1 AU would make more sense. So yeah, whatever that translates into. So in regards to the information that you just got, does that cause you to think of anything else specifically that you would like to ask or dig into the system? And of course, you could be in communication with your crewmates to see if they have any questions, or if you want to update them.
I suppose. Anybody have any questions? You looking to? And the thing that I was specifically looking for was other expeditions to this place and how they fail.
Okay.
And so it doesn't sound like there's. Is there any information about that?
Yeah. So yeah, and you did say that, and I'm sorry for that. There is another piece of information that there was a Sayab Dehilajaba that had done an expedition out, and this is like a secret Foundation tidbit that you pulled out of their database, that had went out to the station 6 months ago and had gotten lost.
Oh, good.
And the information that was in that is that the Foundation Central Committee were quick to contact the Consortium Special Section, which had sent that expedition out to the Rimward Reach because Saib in the entries had discovered that over the 10 years of time that the Tarns had been, tightly packed around the station, he had monitored it and as part of his duties or whatever, and he had discovered that there was an opening supposedly big enough to be able to get a medium-sized ship through. And so they had that expedition go off, and something happened to him, disappeared, and with the association with the last name, you confirmed that Jahan is related to Saib, and Saib is the grandfather of Jahan.
Okay.
What do you think of the station? How it got to its new location? You thinking the gravity, warp, bent space-time?
That seems unlikely, I guess.
It seems unlikely to build a new station in 30 years.
It does. Nothing about this smells right.
Yeah, I know. Sounds like we're headed into trouble. But it can't be any worse than what I had the rest of my life. At least I get to move.
At least we get to go see interesting places.
So we don't go through a portal to get here, right? Or we do?
You went through a portal to get into the Kua system, and the planet below is Kua. There's actually, 8 planets in the Kua system. I can show you a picture of the Kua system. Where's my maps?
I mean, to go to the Station 18.
Right.
Did we go through
So
a
the
portal
Station
to get there?
18, okay, so if you look at the map that I just shared out, hopefully you're
Okay.
seeing it just fine. So you have the Kua star system.
Mhm.
The portals are very near the sun, and there's speculation that there's some sort of ability to pull the energy off of the sun or something. There's a bunch of different theories of how the portals work. People haven't been able to figure them out. They've been trying to work on it for a long time. Anyway, and then you'll see that the third planet in is very Earth-like in size and gravity and all that, and that's Kua. And from Kua all the way out to the Rimward Reach is about 42 AU. So that's where the 8 to 10 days ship time of, blasting away. Because there's unfortunately no portals planet to planet.
Right.
Looks like only darkness way out there.
You do know that the Rimward Reach is full of prospectors, because there's this ore called, again, could probably mispronounce it, a Magdan. And Magdan ore is like really super energy dense, like fuel sources. And so there was like a gold rush to head out to the Rimward Reach. And so you can kind of think of it like our own asteroid belt here with Earth, except Rimward Reach is way out at the end of the system here. And there's, miners, prospectors, there's a series of nomadic tribes that are out there. So you do know that there are people that are out there. And the one place that very much like Coriolis is like the big station for Kua and the portal jumping ships back and forth. There's an asteroid station, like a large, like Ceres, like a big asteroid that they've dug a space station into, and that's called Jacrum.
And like we all know this, just common knowledge.
Yeah, it's fairly common knowledge, especially for you bip-bopping back and forth between Kua and the Debaran system. You don't know all the intimate details, but you do know, hey, there's people out there and there's this Jacorum station.
Mhm.
Never been there, but you know it's there.
You think we should go to this asteroid first and talk to
that-
the people?
He did, Zamil
His
had
cousin.
mentioned
He has a cousin
talking to
there.
his cousin out there, the one
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the gunship.
I think it'd probably be
Using-
beneficial if we did.
Using him as a blocker.
Yep.
Let's roll.
I do
Okay.
know one of the things that Rashid's probably gonna want are basic ship specs on the ship that did go missing, just in case he wants
Yep.
to go look for tools or anything like that that might help with salvaging or even bringing it back in one piece.
Yeah, I'll say that was part of the news bulletin.
Yeah.
Was that it was a standard Scarab
Okay.
configuration, which I can show you a view of that. Let's activate that.
Okay.
So it's like a 4-level ship that is like part cargo, part diplomatic courier type of
Okay.
ship.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Now, how it's configured inside, it varies, but that's the like basic shell.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That works.
All right. Anything else while you guys are at the station? I'm assuming Mara, okay, you're good to go now, and you like shut down, disconnect, and beat feet out of there.
I think it's time to go. If we succeed in our mission, we will have our own ship and we'll be free to explore the cosmos.
Adds that potential.
Mhm.
All
I
right,
like
so
the sound of that.
Eponius, you, Mara, your character, Mara, disconnects from the net and meets up with your shipmates, and you guys, get back to the ship. Steve, you see the gifted crate
Yay!
with the Vulcan pistol,
My Vulcan Scorpion.
with a nice little note. Don't use if you don't have to.
Don't point this at anything you're not willing to destroy.
And if there's nothing else, then we'll jet off into the black.
Ooh.
Now, leaving Coriolis station, you get your authorization. You have to route through some traffic to initially kind of get out, so you can freewheel your own route. And then now you figure it's going to take you 9 days without pushing the engines to get out to the Jackrum station. And obviously, we're not going to roleplay 9 days, but you do have
No.
you do have on the ship 9 days to do further research if you wanted to of that bulletin net for think Wikipedia, except you have it mobile with you, So if you can think of any other questions or like associations, between people, digging deeper on the station history, if you can find anything else. It's just a matter of what you're interested in digging up.
When we get there, what do you think? Where should we go first? You have any plans? Anybody?
I think we should look up our benefactor's cousin, Salim, and I think we should send that gunship ahead of us to kind of make sure there are no Legion locusts floating around this station.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just threw up a map for the Rimward Reach. Hopefully you're seeing that just fine. Let me
No.
know if you're not.
No.
Mm-mm.
You're not seeing it?
No.
Oh, silly me. I viewed it instead of activated it. Now you should see it.
Now we're seeing it.
Okay. So the Kua route, in other words, people coming from Kua are coming down from the bottom right
Mm-hmm.
and then coming up into the Rimward Reach now. So there's this Kanda cloud that is wrapped all around these asteroid fields and stuff. And so you kind of got these like arms of habitation and routes. And obviously it's in a 3D space as opposed to this 2D representation. So you kind of get the feel for why don't they just go that way? Isn't it shorter? It's like, no, because it's actually stretched like behind and it's not 3D. Anyway. So the Jackrum station, as you can see, very much like Coriolis, is kind of like smack dab in the crossing of routes between the far asteroid cluster, the near asteroid cluster. There's a huge amount of gravitational tarns off at the ring. There's like, okay, let me give you some backstory. This is like what you're researching on the 8 to 10 days because you haven't been out to the Rimward Reach before. So the let's see, where did I put it? So about 300 years ago, there evidently, when these guys had originally looked out, from the Kua system to the Rimward Reach, like Foundation folks, scientists and all that, were like, hey, we see some ships or something out there. And they sent some folks out there, and evidently there were some first come people that had settled in the Rimward Reach and had like a society or civilization, something was going on 300 years ago, and then just like overnight stopped. And that was slightly before the Portal Wars, which was 100 years ago. And so there's like a big debate about like what happened to them, where'd they go, and they left all this stuff behind. One of which is the like really weird thing, is there's like this space fleet of really old warships that most of them seem to be in decent shape, or they were just shut down, systems off, just sitting there. And the Legion has that, just like the quarantine with the Space Station 18. That's another thing that they have quarantined off, going, no, this is ours for reasons. And so that's like a big to-do, like, who owns the ships or what are they going to do with them? And so one of the things that you also learn about the Tandar clouds and the Tarns is that the Tarns are like theorized to be like little miniature, like, forming black hole kind of things. They appear to be puddle-ish, and then like you can't see through them, kind of like a black hole where you wouldn't see through. And so they're like micro tears. And so that's one of the reasons why it's between the gravitational Tarn field out there and by the Space Station 18, and then the Kandar cloud is known for like ionic storms and stuff that are like really bad for travelers. And let's see, what else can I give you for that? So the Foundation's long-range probes were about 30 years ago, when they had the strange looking at the Kandar clouds, and then found out that they had some leftover stuff that they're calling the Founders, the first come people that were evidently there that had once populated the Reach. They had built Jacorum. And when people did the Magnar rush, they just took that over. And as long as anybody can remember, there's a man named Akbar that rules Jacorum, And one funny thing about that is he hasn't been seen publicly for like a while. Like every once in a while they like kind of tote him out supposedly in public in like a palanquin, but you don't actually see him. So there's like something funky going on with that. But you know what? Hey, as long as things run cool, we're good. So most people are just like, don't look at the man behind the curtain, I guess. So you guys come in on this Kua route into Jacorum Station, and let me pull up that. Fate. So this is like on your bulletin net, you get like a Jazim, helps you like, this is Jacorum asteroid and the Rimward Reach, and then starts going through details of like how it's laid out. So up here at the number 1, the station is like this big borehole, almost like like strip mines where they bore out and it keeps getting wider and wider as they go deeper and deeper. That's essentially what that is, except now they've turned it into a spaceport. So there's a lot of ships that land in there, and then when the people are living in the asteroid, it's all, as it were, hollowed out with, habitation sphere things that have been carved out for people to build their palaces and houses and stuff.
Is anyone else slightly alarmed by the fact that there are areas there called forbidden sectors?
What? Why would you worry about forbidden sectors? Look, I told you not to go there. That's all you need to worry about. So your Narzalis gets permission to land into the Jacorum site, and I will activate the side view so you can look at how that is as you come into it. So the first thing that you see is there's this gunboat in the Infonet research that you guys found out about Jacorum Station. It's like, oh, that's the gunboat Kaliko that we heard about. So the Legion has this gunboat that just sits in the top of the the port as a don't nobody mess with nothing, because we got a gunboat sitting over all of y'all. And then every once in a blue moon, you've heard or read that it actually is tasked to go somewhere, but they don't basically move this thing if they don't have to. So we'll say that you guys get ordered in to land at the docking port B. When you connect up to the Jackrum's station net, there's a waiting bulletin message for your crew. Is it just addressed to the station from that cousin of Zamil's, the Celine Parsa.
Mm-hmm.
That says, contact me once you're at the station. Here's my info.
Who wants to contact this guy?
Yeah, let's give him a ring.
Do you want to contact him from the ship?
Yeah. Probably.
Omega, were you trying to say something?
This place don't seem too safe. You got that gunship right there. We might be walking into a trap. I think we just go right to that station.
We've been 9 days in the black. I think maybe we should step out, have a drink, unwind for half an hour, and then we can leave. How's that sound?
As long as I could have some wine, I think I'll be okay.
It seems drink all the wine.
Seems to calm my nerves a bit.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea.
So you contact Celine, dip him on his tableau, or make that message to him, or do you want to talk to him on voice first?
Let's leave the ship for a little while. Maybe find somewhere we can grab a quiet drink and call him on voice from there.
Okay.
What do you think?
Works for me.
All right, so we'll activate back onto the asteroid there because you're gonna find a place deeper down. I don't have all the different sections listed off, but I believe the section 3 that's immediately below the docking area is storage, and the main area for most of the shops and stuff is in this central area in the mark number 4, and that's where you're going to find the different shops and cafes and stuff. You get off, kind of like look around. It's this just very high, super high ceiling, opened up cavern with almost some medieval style looking buildings and bridges between the cathedral like domes on some of them, and you're just like, wow, this is like quite a mix of building materials and styles, and it's quite the visual jarring of architecture. And people bustling back and forth. There's probably several thousand souls that are probably on this asteroid in total. Dozens, hundreds that you can kind of see in the various areas. And you run across somebody like right away as soon as you like step off the say elevator that came down and brought you there. You get that. Hey, what are you looking for? I got all sorts of things. I could recommend a place for you. Where do you want to go? Like this uber exuberant person.
I got 5 kids to feed.
My grandma's sick. You don't know, I'm hustling. So what do you guys need? What are you here for? Looks like you haven't been here before. Quiet drink, quiet. Yep, I understand that. I get that. Follow me.
Oh boy.
So,
I heard all these rumors. I heard all these rumors about Station 18. What's all the gossip about that place?
oh, that's 10 years the Legion's been guarding that place. I hear tell there was some sort of huge accident or something that caused those gravity turns. I don't know what to think about it besides that. I don't go out there myself. I got family that's in the Magnor business, and hey, if you want in on some of that, just let me know. I can talk to my uncle. But anyway, but yeah, Station 18. Let's see, do I have any? And he's like walking you through the crowd as he's saying this. Let's see, what else do I know about Station 18? Oh, there was some sort of like chief biologist or scientist person named Wahina that was involved with that station. But yeah, evidently she must have got off of it or something, because I keep hearing rumors about people seeing her in different places, but some of those rumors of like, oh, I just saw her yesterday here, and then somebody says, I saw her yesterday over here, and it's like, you realize that's like 10 AU away from you, that there's no way she could be in both spots at the same time. So I don't believe you.
But you say they guard at, so it's hard to go see the place?
Yeah, they have it quarantined off because of the Tarns. It's super dangerous. Like the Legion lost, they lost one of those little skiff things that they use, and then they lost a couple of exosuits trying to get into the station after the accident.
I turned to Zaire, and our boss says it's an easy mission.
I mean,
oh, that's right.
Sounds like a cakewalk.
Mission. They were just talking about somebody having broke quarantine the other day.
Who would break quarantine? Why would somebody do that?
I don't know.
We're not really all that interested. My friend here is researching like galactical urban legends. It's a hobby.
Well, people got to have hobbies,
Big fan of the scuttlebutt from the long haul freighter pilots.
All right. Well, here we are, gentlemen. Nice, quiet place. It's one of the locals, right? So treat them well, right? You tell them that, good old Nazem sent you, and the place here is called the Blue Rebel. So enjoy.
Okay.
And he's kind of kind of has his hand out like,
Anyone got a coin or two they can give him?
you guys do have Burr that you have on your character sheet. So if you do care to flip him some,
I'll flip him some. He's been a pleasant gentleman.
how much do you give him?
How much do I got? What are they?
Burr should be on
Burr's-
your character sheet on the front there in the left-hand side.
I'll give him
Towards the
10.
bottom.
I'll give him 10 burr.
Ah, thank you, sir. Good sir. May the pleasantness of the Lady of Tears always enjoy your company.
Oh,
And he backs away. So you're standing in front of this Blue Rebel bar.
let's head inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of got the rundown ship worker type, dock worker or refiner type of blue collar feel to it. Kind of the dirt, grease, and oil and stains of generations of miners just peel off the wall, as it were. And there's a rather large, burly individual that is behind the bar, putting some glasses into like an automated washer system.
She feels right at home.
Just like any star system ever.
God.
I'll go to the bar. I'll order a round of the fanciest wine they have.
we
Probably
don't
not very fancy.
we don't serve wine here, sir. That's very offensive.
Oh, sorry.
It's
How
like
about the blackest ale that you have. I want something I can stand a fork in.
All right. Well, I tell you what. We'll give you some of the best. See if I can come up with an interesting name. Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster.
I'll have a round of that.
And he's like, here you go. That'll be 5 burr. Name is
Okay.
Majid. If you need anything,
Thank you, Majid.
Majid.
I'm going to hand 2 of those to Zephyr. And I will hand the other 2 to Rashid and Mara.
What does the string look like? Rashid's gonna like pick it up and kind of look at it.
I kind of hope it has the consistency of motor oil.
That was great.
Did you want to make that contact out to Salim?
Yes, I'll make an audio call to Salim.
Okay.
I don't want to drink while I'm negotiating.
So you get like the little, pop-up of Salim, which I think I have the character art separate to show you, but I can pull out his token. I'll put it right near the 4. So you get the face comes up. He says, Salim Parza? This is Zahir, is it not?
It is our mutual friend, well, your cousin, I guess, is Emil, told us to get in touch with you. Do you want to discuss business over comms, or would you rather meet us?
For more specific details, we should meet.
We're at the Blue Rebel.
Yes, Blue Rebel. I think I know where that is. I'll be there in 15 minutes. So you guys like pass the time for 15 minutes, and then he comes walking in with 2 other gentlemen, kind of schmancy dressed. They're totally out of place for this bar. Um, and they get the the old Western looks like, who dares come through those doors? And he just like shrugs it off like he owns the place, like commoners, and spots you and saddles up, and the two other gentlemen just kind of sit at a table near the door and let him have his conversation with you privately. So he sits down and he goes, "So you're the good crew of the Nerzalis that my cousin Zamil has decided to help him with this project of his, is it?"
Yeah. Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of seems like he's sizing you guys up, and he's like, "Well, I tell you what, Zamil is making it worth my time to be the blocker, as it were, for you guys to draw off the Legion, which I don't really like anyway, because they're a bunch of bastards. So, my plan that I think would work best is we will cut in front of your ship as we approach the destination. And if there's any Legion ship in, we'll patch in our sensor data to you, so you can be more extreme distance out. They won't even get you pinged, right? And if they're there, we'll make them leave. We got a couple of nice torpedoes I've been wanting to try.
Okay, so if you open a can of torpedo with the Legion, that's not going to start anything serious, is it?
Well, let's hope it doesn't get to that. But if it does, they'll have to track us down first.
I trust that you know what you're doing, but I'll defer to the judgment of my crew.
I like this plan. Sounds straightforward to me.
You keep it simple, and it's less things to fuck up.
We also don't have torpedoes. We have a single turret.
Well, you're a freighter. There's a lucrative market out for here in these waters for folks that can help defend my drift.
Mm.
And since Zamil is making it worth my time is yours.
All right, let's do it. When can you be ready?
We are essentially packed and ready to leave, and the sooner that we get there, the better. There's already been 10 days, 12 days since this Jahan expedition disappeared. If there's going to be any survivors, that's a very long time to try and feed off of potentially nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I doubt you'll find any survivors, but that salvage of that ship that probably will be there. And you notice that he didn't make any mention of recovery of data.
Somebody make a mental note of that. I'm going to forget.
Got you.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I tell you what, this station is full of eyes and ears, so it's a good place you pick this place, because this is one of the places they ain't going to be paying attention to. And he looks again at the few individuals around, and he's like, other than the people that are here, but they look fine. So, I tell you what we're going to do. You guys wind up going 2AU out, or not 2AU, you got, like the 2 perimeter clicks out from the station, and we'll come by, we'll snag you up on long range, we'll do the sensor data, and we'll drag you in.
Sounds good.
All right, so I noticed that we've been online for quite a bit here, so Omega, if it's okay, can we take a 10-minute bio food break for folks? You're on mute, I can't hear you.
Sure, sure thing. We'll be
All right.
right back, everybody.
Cool.
I
Come
will say,
back,
if you could
folks.
provide.
Yes, Aponius. What
I'm
was
sorry.
it?
Go ahead.
What did you want provided?
I was hoping to get that in before we came back.
Oh,
But
fair
if we
enough.
get some of those maps in sort of higher res as handout somewhere, that would be cool.
Yeah, unfortunately,
really
all I
useful
have
for-
is maps
All I
that
have is that. Okay.
are here in Foundry. Right. So where we had left off was you had talked to the Zamil Mahfouz, who's the owner of your ship Narzalis, who's contracted you out to do this mission, and you had talked to his cousin here at Jackrum Station out in the Rimmered Reach, Zalim Parsa, who has a gunship that is going to run blocker for you for any potential Legion ship that is pretty much going to be there to do this quarantine, preventing you from getting to Station 18. And that's where we had left off. So you guys had get back to your ship Narzalis and take off, get out of the Jackrum Station, lifting off, avoiding the gunship that's sitting there at the top of the column. And bye-bye, boys. And you go the 2 clicks out, or the 2 registered links out that Zalim had asked for, and you pick up the signature on your sensor data that is his gunship, the Reverend.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. So, question for you. I know that we have Zahir as pilot. When you guys are in the ship, what positions do you wind up taking?
Go ahead.
So we have like a sensor operator, the engineer that helps with the engines, and then let's see, what are the other positions? Forgetting one. Right. So I have Zahir as captain, and then I would imagine that being the data gen, that with the expertise and the technology that you're focused on helping with the engineer part of Pontius. And then, if it comes to roles, if you need to roll for the ship for the engines, we need to know who's in that engineering spot, and then who's in the sensor spot, and then gunner, and then who's on your little turret gun if need be. So I assume that Apontius, Mara's engineer because of her expertise, and then we have Rashid. Probably you have I think you actually have range combat.
I do technically, yes.
Yeah. So
So
maybe
I could take up that gunner position.
Yeah, and then Omega. I guess that would leave you as operating, sensors, just interpreting data as it comes in.
Yes, that would be what I'm better at, because I have no combat skills whatsoever. I got a little bit of mystical knowledge and some science, but...
Okay. So what we're going to see here is the data that you're getting on your sensor, Omega, is the Reverend pulling away, leading you off in a direction, and the map here. of the Rimward Reach. Let's activate that back up again. So you take off from the Jackram station. You wind up going through the Kandar Gap that's, kind of pinch pointing the two, far cloud and near clouds to get into the near asteroid cluster, following the Magnan route around. And it takes you like 2 days of getting out there roughly because of the distance. And as you're approaching Omega, you get like the sensor update and like a little text message that goes with the sensor data. It's like embedded in the sensor data because it's only the one link that is between your ships, kind of tight beamed. And the text message is from the Reverence sensor operator going, looks like the Legion's there for sure. And you get the sensor data that there's because you don't see it on your sensors, you're seeing it through them at extreme range, that there's a Legion battleship blip on their radar. And they say, all right, in the text messages, like, we're going to lead them off. Good luck. Keep an eye out. And that's, again, a text message on that tight beam. And
I respond back, same to you,
So you see them start to pull ahead. You go from long range to like extreme range sensors. And you see them, take a turn and then make another tight turn, burn. And then there's a torpedo that gets launched from their ship, and you see that blip go off. And then they make another another turn, and then they angle off. Omega, can you see if you give a sensor data roll? That would be for you, I believe, for doing sensors is essentially a data gen roll, or I could also take a science or technology and give it to you on a +2 because they had you linked in.
Okay.
Okay. And then the big question is do you want to do a pray to your icon?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to sit there in my chair and come on now. You can do this. I can't look like a fool in front of these people. I got to look like I can do it. Please, my one, please give me the success I need, please. And I'm going to push. Do I get a modifier?
Yeah, +2 because they had you linked in.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. All right. So you managed to, even though they're tight burning, you're given an update to Zahir saying, okay, hey, we need to, they're turning here. We need to keep them in line. So, speed up, slow down, like kind of trying to, match so you don't lose them. And you managed to coordinate that. And in the sensor data, you get them disappearing behind some asteroids, and the sensor data that was reading off is the Legion ship having their sensor data had the Legion ship also had the area marked off. It wasn't really reading because they can't read it, but they had the restriction quarantine zone zoned off. So they had it on their map, and they had the Legion battleship, and the Legion battleship was following them away out into the asteroids, later off in the reach area that you're in. And so according to their data, the battleship is already, following them, and on your extreme ship Narzalis sensors, you get that little faint ping of the Legion ship leaving your sensor range, and now you're coming into range of where this very tight eddied Karn area of Station 18 is floating in the black.
think we did it, guys. I think we avoided
Anything
them.
else on sensors? Any other ships? Any other lingering presences?
No,
don't-
just that blip of the Legion ship as it left.
I
Okay,
don't see
perfect.
anything. I think we can move in now.
All right.
Okay. So we're probably gonna, I assume, want to do like a scan of the gravitational terms, like trying to determine the best course path through the eddies.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you still want Omega as the best person for that, or now that you're not in, needing to have all the positions manned, you have the choice of obviously somebody else that has maybe better science could do it.
Anybody got good
Yeah.
science?
I believe he's nudging me to make the roll.
I'm just saying that it's a little bit more important when you need to figure out how to get past these stars.
Come on, guys. Like, you seen me. I was doing good on the sensors.
I mean, if you want to make the next roll, and who am I to stop you from making the next roll?
I mean, I can
for
try to
a
just
strong-
fly by feel.
I am a leaf on the wind. Watch me soar.
Right, that wound up so well. All right, so you want me to make a science roll?
Yeah, I'll take either science or data gen for it's interpreting the
Okay,
data,
okay.
right? So you get the sensor data.
It's funny,
And,
actually, science is better for me. So,
okay.
give me a second. Science. The science. Okay, so the science on my original character sheet said 3, and it looks like you took 2 out of that to put in data gen.
Yeah, correct. I didn't update you on that one.
All right, so then I will roll a data gen.
Yep.
Yeah, and your wits to that too, correct?
Yeah.
And I will push. Data gen.
Okay. So you pray to the icons. Thank you for the darkness point.
Oh, what's a darkness point do?
A few
It can
nasty
do-
things.
it can do.
Yeah, we've got a
it
couple
can do
now.
stuff.
We've got like 4, maybe.
3.
We're gonna have 4 by the end of this.
So yeah, go ahead and push. All right, there
Okay,
you go.
so that's one success.
All right, so you have like you take a while. It took you a little bit extra, and you were stressing about it. You prayed to the icon. Please, grant me and be able to read this data. However you prayed, and the mapping sequence is difficult. It's like glitching in and out as the sensor readers are doing that data, and you do think that you find what that Sayab Dajilabad had talked about, where there seems to be a path through that has drifted evidently apart the Tarns enough that we can slide the ship in, but it's risky if you don't pilot it exactly right. So Mara hands off that sensor data, like, here's the path that you need to try and take, and be careful because some of it eddies and wobbles around. And now we get to have your pilot start to make the effort of going through the Tarns. Now this is going to be kind of tense because essentially you have to go slow and then like make a turn and another turn through these eddies and vortices. So there's going to be 3 rolls of pilot maneuvers, and on the third not successive dice, but successive rolls, then you will have made it through the eddies to the eye of the storm where this Station 13 is located.
Mm. So you want me to roll my full pilot, right?
Yep.
Okay, 9 dice. Here we go.
Okay. With the extra successes, you're like Tokyo drifting, as it were. You're like, I got this, very arrogantly. This hole is really big right here, and you're like this part of it's nothing. Come on, give me a challenge. And so I'll say that it shortens the time it takes you, and with the 3 successes, we'll cut off one of the rolls.
All
Okay,
right.
so you only have one more roll because of how you're just like, I got this. You so expertly. So now I'll just have the last roll of making it through the tarns there. Okay, so you successfully do that last turn, and you can see the dark, where the stars get winked out of these puddles with the little white blue electrical almost flashes of these microscopic tears, and it's scary. It's like if the ship hits it's gonna wreak havoc. And no sooner than you're thinking that, and then Zahir, you get the little readout that says, oh, looks like we're clear of the field. That you notice that there's some ship debris floating by. And the sensor data, let's say you guys do a scan of that, and the sensor data, it's not from a scarab, so it's evidently not from that Jahan expedition, but it's almost reading like debris, structure components, etc., from what would be normally considered like a survey ship, which would coordinate. Learned about there was that Sayab that had tried to make it all the way in. So now you're getting a view of the Station 18. So we'll switch back over to that. So from a distance, you're seeing, this is a little bit more of a zoomed in shot, but you're seeing the station slowly rotating on its axis. By how fast it's rotating, within 2-3 minutes, it would have rotated all the way around. And the vessel's approaching. You're seeing this growth, this rust, something on the sides of the ship. The other thing that you notice is that where the large sensor array is has been damaged. The control deck, the main sensor array, it's almost like it's been blown out and exploded. And whoever wants to do a sensor roll could give me a sensor roll for trying to pick up what this stuff is on the outside of the ship.
Rashid, do you have any sensors? You haven't made a roll yet. You got any skills?
What would be the best thing for the sensors?
Science or datagen are the two that I'll take.
Yeah, it's gonna be flat rolls for me on that. I have no points in either of those.
The Great One will guide you. Have faith.
Let's go for it. It's not gonna matter. Let's make a science roll.
Did you say
You have to have at least one point in them.
Yeah, you have to have at least one.
Yeah. If you're not trained, you can't use that one.
Yup.
Well, what else do you have?
I can make another roll if we really want.
Oh, you have to be trained in this game to use it?
Evidently.
There's two columns of skills, so the column on the
left. Oh yeah, because
it's
considered an advanced skill. That's right. And then
Yeah,
Coriolis, you have to be trained in an advanced skill. General skills you can have 0, but not the advanced ones.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Well,
So
I guess I
let's
could
see.
do it. Unless you can
Knock
find
yourself
something
out.
else.
No, I
Mm.
mean the closest thing he's got to science is the metacurgy or medical essentially, and that doesn't really work for sensors.
Mm-mm.
Observation. That looks like rust.
If you want to do observation at a -1, sure.
Okay, you know what? No, let's have some fun with that. You said at a -1.
Yep. And then
Okay,
do you want
nah,
to push?
I don't think it's worth pushing on that one.
All
Being 100% honest.
right. So
Faith,
who wants
have
to give?
faith. You can do it.
Can we all roll for this, or do you want
Yeah,
to
if you still want to do the sensor roll, go ahead.
I will see what I get on.
Yeah.
Nope.
Luck is a lady tonight.
Not gonna push it.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, you don't know if it's rust or what it is, but it's not the right color for rust. But I mean, the ship has been here for 10 years and not being repaired and
Mhm.
gravity anomalies. Who's to say what's been going on? So now the problem is, now you guys have to make a plan of how you want to get onto the station, which is rotating on its axis every like 2-3 minutes.
So we need a special piloting role to be able to dock. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I will say that as you guys are starting to discuss that, as a matter of fact, the station is rotated its opposite side to you, and you see a scarab ship docked to that opposite side of the station 18. It is overgrown with what, now that you're slightly closer also in time, that some sort of organisms, like plant growth almost, but it's like these kind of black with and then from the little bit of light that's hitting that side of the ship, you get little, almost like bioluminescence of red and purple.
Okay.
And that scarab is just overgrown with all of that stuff, and it's also on the ship on this side particularly heavy.
There goes our salvage.
Maybe.
And once it's done its rotation, you do see that there was a docking bay, but that's been blown out with the control command deck.
Of course.
But there you also see 4 visible airlocks. 2 are evidently completely covered with this dark biomatter stuff that you're seeing, and then the other 2 are partially covered. And what I'll say is, you also notice that this dock that you thought initially was the scarab, actually it's broken. So the biomatter had evidently, it pulled it away slightly from, evidently these guys used a portable airlock, and in the pull away, what you're guessing is the pull away, it broke the biomatter. So there is some biomatter at the portable airlock, but in that breaking it away from the airlock, that seal of the portable airlock is clean at the moment.
Okay.
Do we want to try to hook up to one of these airlocks, or do we want to go for a little spacewalk?
Yeah, I mean, you would imagine that there's some sort of access hatch of some sort.
Yeah, I don't think we would like to bring our ship close enough to that biomatter. I've seen enough experiments with some strange bio creatures and stuff and fungus that can just eat metal. Yeah. I say we stay
I
away
would
from
like
that.
for the metal not to be eaten.
It's probably gonna take more time trying to dock on a ship that's constantly rotating like that.
Well, I mean, space mechanics is like if you can get the rotation right,
Yeah.
once you get that momentum, then you're floating with that same flip.
Well,
that
yeah.
ship is. It's just a matter of getting into that orientation.
Yeah, exactly.
Geosynchronous orbit.
Yeah, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm all for
I
the
mean-
spacewalk.
I can try. I can try to line the ship up.
So I would say, Rashid, as a ship worker and doing your duties, and
Yeah.
probably have more EVAs than these other guys. You would have it as, okay, so if we're not docking, then somebody needs to do the EVA out with a cable running from your ship, and then get onto the space station, do a hook, and then that
Right.
would allow people to go back and forth far more easily than with, I don't know if any of you guys have hand jets that are used for like the little pss, 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 spraying directional. It'd be on your exoshells. So if you have
I do have an exoshell.
Oh, that
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be on your exoshell. So your exoshell is like, think of it more like, it's not so much, it is a rigid like bodysuit, but it does have like little, air, jet fan things on it. And so it's almost like a personal submersible in a way. So it's kind of really bulky, more than just a regular armored space.
Okay. Rashid can probably take care of that and run the line out to the station.
Okay. So why don't we do this? I see that we're real time at midnight. So let's have the cliffhanger as, do you make it across and hook in? Okay.
Okay. Wonderful.
All right. So you suit up. It takes the few minutes to do the suit up and do the systems check and all that, and get the. All right. Where are we gonna go? Where's the part on the ship that's the least amount of stuff?
Yeah.
And in case I miss and I have to roll, I don't want to roll right into this stuff. And so you pick a spot on the we'll call it the original side of the space station that you first ran across, because you didn't see a whole lot, and then as it rotates again, you're that's a little bit more cleaner. So it seems to have originated out more of that one particular side, and over the course of years, you're guessing it's just slowly accumulated and grown. And how it wrapped itself around the Shazma, you're not sure. Maybe it had something to do with radiation that it fed off of and had extra growth because of it. Anyway, so you suit up and you got to do the leap of faith, as it were, and cross the distance over to the station. So I'm going to do this as a combo. Zahir, I need you. The best way of doing it is to try and match rotation, so that the thing isn't spinning on him as he's going across. So I need a piloting roll to see how well you match, and then we'll need his what is it for the EVA? Probably survival, I guess.
Okay.
Or if you have
Critical success.
I guess I could take dexterity too.
Okay.
Well, you're good pilots there. Wow.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
He's
no.
like, now that I'm out of the Tarns, I got all this room to maneuver.
Okay. So you said for Rashid, you need your survival or dexterity. Is that right?
Yeah, whichever. I'll take either one of those.
Okay, it's definitely gonna be dexterity then. And just a 0 modifier.
I'll say because of the time that you are carefully planning it, we'll give you a +1.
And my awesome piloting.
That's true.
Totally.
Let's do that. Yeah, that because of the extra closeness that he got you, we'll give you a +2.
A +2. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hooray.
Because the extra
Okay, let's go.
extra awesomeness of piloting, and he needed it.
I think
Wow.
I will take it.
All right, so as we close our adventure tonight, and I apologize, we haven't run this module before, so we're going to extend it out into an episode 2, and we'll figure out when we can do that offline. But we appreciate everyone watching. Definitely come back for episode 2 for whether or not we wind up being able to find out what the heck is going on with Station 18. All right.
All right.
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks, you. Bye-bye. See you next time. Saturday, we got Twilight 2000, Desert of the Dead. 2 more days.
That's right.
You see me and Father back. Bye-bye.
Yep. All right, have a good one, folks.